Okay, after minutes of searching the internet, I finally found the way to travel magically around town. It requires this magic symbol and these magic words. Let's try it. Fizbo, Hoa, New, Rio. MLS moment. Alright, so today we're going to be talking about InfoSparks. I'm really excited about this one today because I came back from the beach to give you this information today. So, InfoSparks is a data tool that easily performs trend analysis in up to 4 areas at a time. And let's jump in real quick and so I can show you how this is very, very useful for you. So let's get right to it. Okay, so here we are on the MLS. In order to get to InfoSparks, we're going to go to Menu. We're going to type in Info, and you will see InfoSparks show up as a choice, and we're just going to click on InfoSparks. You'll notice InfoSparks takes us off of FlexMLS. I have a different tab open now for InfoSparks. So just so you're aware, InfoSparks is a separate application from MLS, just as MMT is, or MLS Advantage, or any of the other applications. In order to get back to the MLS, I would just click the tab to the left of it, which would take me right back to the MLS. But we're here to talk about InfoSparks today, so that's what we're going to talk about. So there are 2 basic ways that you can use InfoSparks. One is information for yourself. The other is information that you can pass along to your potential customers or customers. And we're going to look at both of those basic ways to use it today. So first, I'm going to use the information for myself as an agent. So right now what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the median sales price over the entire MLS for the last 3 years. That is a very broad bit of information here, but what we want to do is we want to limit it to the area that we're specifically interested in. And there are several ways to do that. The very first thing I'm going to do is point out that this line chart here will actually show every single amount every single month as you move along this line. So if you're interested to see the actual number for each month of each year, you can actually do that going right along this line chart. You also have the choice of switching it to a bar chart, which is much easier to understand and easier to see at a glance. So that's what I'm going to switch it to. You can switch this to a bar chart simply by going to the box right here that says line, clicking the drop down, and you will see where it says line or bars. And I'm just going to switch it over to bars now. So now that I've switched it to a bar chart, I can see the year 2017, 2018, and 2019. Let's say that I am interested in farming a specific subdivision. So in order for me, instead of seeing the entire MLS, which is a very large area, I'm interested in farming a specific subdivision. So I am going to go up here where it says entire MLS, click this drop down arrow, click down here where it says subdivision, but I do have other choices. I could choose zip code, area, county, or region, but right now I just want to use a subdivision. So I'm going to click subdivision, and then I'm going to type in the subdivision I'm interested in farming. So in my case, I'm going to use Queens Harbor, but you can use whatever, and you can see all of the different Queens Harbors come up. I'm just going to use the basic Queens Harbor, not the country club or the yacht club. So I'm just going to double click that, and now it instantly changes that chart to the last 3 median sales price right down here at the bottom for the last 3 years. So if I want to compare that to another subdivision that I'm potentially interested in farming, I can do that. So right to the right of where it says Queens Harbor now, it says add an area. So I can click add an area, click that drop down, and then click subdivision, and now I can choose a different subdivision. So let's do Jack's Golf and Country Club. So I just typed in Jack's Golf, and Jack's Golf Country Club comes up. I'm just going to click on that, and now you see the other subdivision sitting right next to each other. So now I have a nice comparison going on of this subdivision versus that subdivision with the median sales price down here in the bottom left hand corner. So when looking at subdivisions in order to farm, the median sales price may not be the only number that you want to look at. And each one of these blue boxes down at the bottom will give me different numbers. So if I was interested in farming one of these two subdivisions, I could look at the median sales price, but then I could also go look at pending sales in those subdivisions, and you can see the numbers instantly change. I can see closed sales in those subdivisions, and this is over the last 3 years. I can see days on market, I can see monthly supply, percent of list price, price per square foot, dollar volume, shows to pending, shows per listing. So we can actually get a lot of information, and I don't have to be a super technologically savvy person to get these charts. They just show up as I'm clicking on these blue buttons at the bottom. So a nice way for you to compare a given area before you spend your marketing dollars on something that you don't necessarily know is going to give you a nice return on your investment for your marketing potential there. Over here on the right where it says bars, I have the choice of switching it from 1 to 2 to 3 years. And then next to that, I have a choice of what type of chart I'm seeing: monthly, rolling 3 months, rolling 6 months. I like the rolling 12 months because it automatically updates for whatever time I click, whatever month I'm clicking on the links. And then you can also do year to date. So you have a lot of choices there. You can break down by price if you would like: single family home, condominiums, new construction. We can do square footage, we can do bedrooms and baths, but this is the basic way that you can use this information for yourself. Let's say that I've decided that I am going to farm Jack's Golf Country Club. So I have Jack's Golf Country Club as a choice here, but I don't want to have Queens Harbor up here anymore. I can just click the X next to where it says Queens Harbor right there, and that'll remove it. And now all I'm seeing is the median sales price for Jack's Golf Country Club over the last 3 years. If I would like to use this information for my customers or potential customers out there, I can use this information or share it out to the social media platforms if you'd like, or your own website. So there's a couple of basic things you need to know about doing that. So first of all, if I want to share this chart out onto social media, which is perfectly allowed by MLS rules, by the way, you can go right over to this button that says share. And if I click on share, a box is going to open and it's going to give me two choices. I can do static or I can do live. Static means a snapshot of right now. Live means that it's automatically going to update every month as these numbers update. So for social media, what I want to do is I want to use the static version, and there's a reason for that. When you're on social media and you're using these charts, and I put a live version of that chart, and the next month I want to put it out there again, well, the other post I did would automatically update, and it would look like I made the same post twice. By using static, it's taking that snapshot right now, and then next month if I want to do it again, my chart would have different numbers on it, which makes more sense instead of people seeing multiple posts that all say the same thing. So that's the reason why I would suggest you use static when you're doing social media. You want to use live when you're using your own website. Let's say you have a page on your website for Jack's Golf Country Club and you have all of these charts on a page there, and you are steering people to go to your website to look at information about Jack's Golf Country Club, you would want those charts to automatically update. So that's when you would use the live version. So let me show you how you can put this out there on social media. So I've got it on static, and I've got it on social media or email, and then I click share. And you can see here it gives you a URL or a link that you're going to use for this. So I'm just going to highlight this, and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to go to my social media. In this case, I'm going to use Facebook. And I'm just going to go onto Facebook. I'm going to go to my Facebook page, and then I'm just going to go right in here, and I'm going to paste that link in. And what you're waiting for is this to show up right here where it says median sales price, right? That means that I no longer need this link that I put in here, and I can write whatever I'd like in here, or a call to action, or whatever verbiage you would like to put in to go with this chart. Okay, so looks like I got my call to action in there now, and I'm just going to click post,
And once I click post, you see that chart shows up right there. I have a call to action, a nice chart that's easy to read. The reason why I like using the bar chart for social media is because it's easy to see. And remember, you have very limited amount of time when somebody's scrolling through Facebook or any social media to kind of grab them and get them to look at this. My call to action is geared towards if they don't live in Jack's Golf, I could still reply with their neighborhood. If they commented and said, hey, what about Queens Harbor, for instance, I could give them those numbers as well. So I'm not limited to just Jack's Golf, but I'm trying to make sure it's open to everyone else. So that's kind of my strategy right there when I'm doing this on social media. So if you were to click on this, all of your contact information would be at the top of this. It takes you to a nice page that has all of that information that'll lead right back to you, which is really nice. And even if it gets shared off of social media, what I mean by share it off, I mean, say I share it and then somebody shares it on their page and then their friends share it, your contact information follows that around. So you never have to worry about losing any kind of visibility that way. So really easy to get it out there on social media. A nice free post once a month. I also have the ability to do this as a PDF if I would like, and I can just print it out. Nice to bring to a CMA or something along those lines. I can get an embed code for this. So if you wanted to put this on your personal or website, you can get an embed code that you can just copy and paste and put into your website. I'd also like to point out that you are not limited to just these subdivisions, zip code regions. There is a place right here that says My Areas. If I click on My Areas, it will allow me to draw an area on the map and save that area so that I can use that over and over again, because as we all know, there are lots of areas in town that are just areas in town, but they're not cordoned off by a zip code or region, area, or subdivision. It's just a part of town that maybe you'd like to get the numbers for. So let me give you an example of that, and I'm just gonna scroll in here to the Jack's Beach type area here. This area here between JTB and Beach Boulevard, I can just click on that polygon tool and I can just kind of draw out the area that I am interested in, and I can just kind of go down this road here. And there we go, and I don't want it to go all the way over there. I'm just going to pull that over, and there. So that's the area that I have. This is my quote-unquote Jack's Beach area, if you will. And I'm going to click Save, and then I'm just going to name it something that I'll recognize. Just like that, and I'm going to click Save, and now it's going to be saved. So if I go back to InfoSparks, when I click on that down arrow, you'll now see a My Areas section show up. So if you don't have any areas saved, you won't see this. But once you've saved an area, that's when it starts showing up. So I'm going to click My Areas, and then you'll see that Jack's Beach Jeremy area is shown up. And I click on that, and immediately it creates a chart. Let me change that to the bar chart, and there we go. So I can just cordon off any area and say, give me the numbers for that specific area. So, and you can save it, and you don't have to keep drawing it over and over again. So really, really nice feature there. There's also a button here that says Fast Stats. If I click on Fast Stats, it'll give me an automatic report for each given area. Let's do St. Johns County right here. And you can see that I'm getting single family condominiums. It's a nice one-page report that I can just print off. So if you would like to have some sort of advertisement or just some monthly numbers for the county, you can get that right there very, very quickly.
All right, I hope you enjoyed today's videos. I gotta get back to the beach. Have a great day.